After a couple days of being haunted by Sam, I started seeing other ghosts here and there, around the house, in my sleep, in my books, everywhere. By far, the one that scared me the most was the one I called the King. His card name was actually Universitas Rex, which translates to King of the Universe. He could take the shape of any dead thing on any planet, but his favorite was a young man about my age, nearly completely decayed with a strange white and red mist trail behind him. It was the most persistent. Even when I didn't see it, I knew it was there, behind me, watching. I can clearly remember not putting its card in the deck because it was too hard to look at. I guess that was my punishment, having to either look at or smell it always. But something else dawned on me around the same time. I found one sole picture of the pack art for Tombstone Ritual. On it was a background of grave markers, and in the foreground was the king, which meant that the other ghosts were his soldiers. And if there's a king with soldiers, there's a war. A war for what, you might ask? A war for my soul is my answer. But they wouldn't win me over. I started to put the deck in a red deck box and the others in a box wrapped in red tape. While the dreams and visions continued, my life was almost normal again. However, one day after school, I found my box opened and all the cards scattered across the floor. Wave after wave of pure negative energy flowed through me, pulsing with my blood. My head was splitting with pain. I was brought to my knees.
"You will bow before the king,"
a voice rang in my head. I forced myself to look up, and standing there was the king. His face was an evil smirk, and he started to look more and more like me, just see-through.
"The war has only just begun. You think you're the only one we're after. How foolish."
I realized in that moment that the ghosts weren't just after me. They wanted everything I had, all that I loved and cared for. I tried to stand. I tried to defend myself. The king just laughed and stepped through me, sending a shiver up my spine. I blacked out shortly after. In my dream, the ghost army was assembled before me. I looked around with pride, believing I'd conquered them finally. Even the infamous ill blood kneeled to me. My joy was short-lived, because a row of soul reflectors, a ghost-type support card, stood before me. Their mirrored sides showed me who I was, what I was. The skin came dripping off my face like water. I stood tall and proud in a black robe with a golden crown resting on my head. My empty eye sockets stared soullessly back at me. I was the king. I woke up in a hospital, hooked to an IV bag and vital sensor. My parents were standing over me. They told me how 3 more of my friends died while I was out, 2 in a car accident and 1 in a break-in. Needless to say, I was crushed. The ghosts had taken another group of friends, and nobody else knew it but me. I'm sure you'd say, why not tell anybody else about this? My answer? You're right. I'll just tell them that my friends are dying because a box of haunted trading cards are sitting in my room. Let's see how fast they put me away in a nice little white room with a jacket that makes me hug myself. When I got home, I decided to do some research for the first time. As it turned out, what I found on a deeply hidden forum post on a site I have long since forgotten. When the ghost-type cards were printed, 3 of Konami's workers fell into the press. Those 3 have still not been named, but it is rumored that one of them was a murderer, explaining for the rest of the souls haunting the cards. I tried to get a hold of the person who had posted this information, hoping to find out more. However, I soon found out that he or she had deleted his or her account about 2 years prior. As you could probably assume, I was annoyed to no end. I was left with little information, an army of spirits haunting a set of cards, 4 friends dead, and the guilt of an apparently hefty medical bill on my parents. I figured there was only one thing left to do. I had to destroy the cards. My first attempt was to cut them into bits. That only made things worse as the ghost began to multiply in my dreams tenfold. So I thought I should burn them. Also not good, because the morning afterwards I found all of the cards neatly stacked next to my computer, with ill blood and Universitas Rex on top. I contemplated sending them through a few wash cycles with some heavy-duty bleach, but decided against it, as if it worked, I'd be stuck cleaning the machine for days. I kept trying to rid myself of the curse for 3 months. Out of options, out of luck, and out of the will to go on. I tried one last desperate act to save myself. I made an eBay ad. I advertised the entire 119 card set of Tombstone Ritual, with some duplicates. I set the thumbnail as a ghost rare ill blood. I set the starting bid price at $2. I prepared the cardboard box with red tape. When I saw that someone else had bid for $5, about 12 hours left in the bid, 12 hours left of hope for myself, I entered the auction and immediately sent the buyer an email. Thank you so much for buying the cards for me. You have no idea how long I've been trying to get rid of them. I wouldn't be surprised if you sold them off again later. Thanks again, though. Smiley face. I sent the cards off to a buyer the same day. I was free. Finally free. That night, I had the best sleep in months. No nightmares, no king, no dead friends, just darkness. Just how I like it.
What you just listened to was a transcript of a video file found on the computer of the deceased James Jackson. He and his family died in a house fire a week after the video was created. Investigations reports have found no discernible cause for the fire and have written it off as an accident, with the report left out was that there was only a few items left in the house, not reduced to ash, and they were his computer, on which the video file was found, and a Yu-Gi-Oh playing card, Universitas Rex.